And I'm going to tell you this, guys. We could talk about the Arkansas side of this in a second. I am very, very worried about this Duke team. I have not been overly impressed by them in any of the performances that we've seen. They lost at home to Arizona. They did not look great in a win over Michigan State, who frankly has not looked all that great this year. And they have looks like they're gonna take they're down double digits right now at Bud Walton Arena. So Tyler, I'll go to you first, man. Am I right to be worried about where this Duke team is right now?
You are. I would say that. And, it's, they're lost to Arizona and now they're lost to Arkansas. It seems like they've lost to teams that really get out and run. And kind of like what we talked about it on here before, is it looks like teams are just putting Filipowski in the pick and roll and they're just kind of
Mm-hmm.
exploiting that situation. But also, I think that they're going to have to find other players step up. And tonight you saw TJ Power come in, get some more minutes, a freshman, hit some big shots. But I think Duke is starting to, there's starting to be some, not really matching the hype that everyone's giving them right now.
Yeah, Jarrell, you look at the freshmen at Duke, and you look at the freshmen at Kentucky, and you look at the performances that we're getting out of them on a nightly basis. And to me, that's kind of where you see the biggest difference right now. Everyone thought Duke's guards were going to be doing what Kentucky's guards doing right now.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, I don't really think it's just on the freshmen. And just
It's
the
not.
thing that the loud blaring thing that keeps going off in my head when I watch them and they struggle is just, man, when is just waiting on Proctor to take the next step, man.
Yes.
This is obviously a guy who's been touted to be a lottery pick come this upcoming year in 2024. And obviously, I see the talent, I see the potential, I see the skill, I see the pace, you see the size. But games like this, going into tough environments, Filipowski for the most part is going to be there. Even on nights that he doesn't score, to shoot it great, he's almost like a shoe in double double. So he's going to be there in some aspect. I think they're looking. I think they're looking, and they're kind of waiting on Proctor to take that next step. Man, you can't just rely on McCain and Caleb Foster and those type of guys going into these hostile environments. And I also think it's a little bit to do with them figuring out some different lineups and like we were just talking about with North Carolina, just figuring out what's that lineup going to be. I feel like all really really good teams have that kill lineup, whether they start with it or not, or whether they go to it during the course of the game. You got that one lineup where you feel good about, where I know we can get stops, we got plenty of scoring, we got shooting, and we can rebound after we get stops. I think they just need to kind of figure out that lineup, and but I still think they'll be fine. In my opinion, I think they're still probably the man for man, maybe the deepest team in basketball. So John will figure it out. He's done a great job so far, and they'll probably take this loss and go back to work after this.
Yeah, it's going into Bud Walton Arena is never going to be an easy thing to do, and I'm worried about how Mark Mitchell and Kyle Filipowski fit together because you don't really have a five defensively, but Mark Mitchell can't really shoot it well enough to be able to pull people away from the basket. It's just kind of a weird fit. There's things you got to figure out. I think you hit the nail on the head. Tyrese Proctor has got to be he's got to be a killer, and he hasn't figured out how to do that yet. But Tyler, this said so much to me about Arkansas, right? Playing without Tremont Mark, who had 34 against North Carolina, playing after going losing to UNC Greensboro at home, after going 1-2 in the Bahamas, and coming out and putting together this kind of performance in this arena. It's so impressive. Like, it must always finds a way. He always finds a way to get it done.
Yeah, he does. And also, they're big, they're athletic, and they're long. I think that presents a lot of problems for Filipowski. But the one player for me is a Brazil kid. I think he's a mismatch problem. He can spread the floor. He's athletic. He's long. He can get out, run, gets rebounds. I think he's an unbelievable player, and I think he will become one of those guys. I think he's a potential All American if he plays to his capabilities. But yeah, Musk. I mean, he gets his team rolling and he knows how to coach his squad. So I'm not worried about Arkansas. I'm actually, like I've said, a lot more positive about them than a lot of people have. And I know they haven't been playing good quality basketball in a full game, but you see glimpses of this team and what it can be and how they can get out and run and create a lot of mismatch problems. But also, I do think that they make a commitment defensively, and they could be a very tough defensive team as well.
Yeah, Jarrell, what's your take?
My more than my take, I think is what do you do in pick and rolls with Filipowski at the five? And I guess that's kind of open ended question to you guys because I'm not exactly sure how to fix it, and I feel like they're not the only team that kind of has this problem. What do you do when you got the dominant big man in today's game that causes issues that nobody can guard, shoe in double double, but you get these small dynamic guards and they just pull them out and pick and roll every chance they get, and they struggle with it. Like, you kind of got to figure out an answer for that. I'm not sure what the answer is right now, but I think, like I said, John will do a good job of figuring it out. Maybe mixing some lineups up a little bit. I'm not sure what Young will kind of factor in with everything at, but they'll figure it out and they'll be fine, especially once they get to the ACC play.
Yeah, the pick and rolls, I think, is what I mean. Muss is so good. You see it year in and year out. He's so good at figuring out like the one thing that you're not able to do on the defensive end of the floor and just going at it over and over and over again. And in the second half, it was those ball screens with Flit. Yeah,
Mhm.
they couldn't.
Why are we talking this
Duke couldn't figure out
5-point
what to
game?
do with it. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and
Joe.
also, I would say I saw Duke switch to a zone, which I really haven't seen Duke zone much